All right. Good morning, everyone. I apologize. I could not be in the room because I'm on vacation. So I'm zooming in from vacation.
You
But
look
welcome.
like you're on vacation.
I am. I'm doing this because I love y'all. But welcome everybody to the community, the CAB, the Community Advisory Board Outreach and Community Engagement Subcommittee meeting. Today is June 18th. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in and start with welcome introductions and announcements. So again, my name is Nicole Green. I am the vice chair for CAB, and I am sitting in for our chair, Ozzy Carter. And then I'll go to the room. Brenda.
Our turn?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Brenda Lee, representing West County.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Marcus DeWall representing East County.
Thank you very much. All right. And then for staff.
Hello, Garyana Youngblood with the ORJ.
Okay, thank you. Any announcements from those in the room?
None for me.
No.
No. Okay, so it's not an announcement, but I'm just going to start off with this because and it's not in the agenda, but I just wanted the plan is here to give y'all some thought. At our last CAP meeting, we were all notified that Reverend Van Hook has stepped down from being the chair. So just that means that we're going to have to either replace the chair, and we do have two people that did sign up to be part of CAP. So I definitely wanted to just put it out there to not sure if any one of you may want to volunteer and or step up. If not, or I'll let you walk away with some thought because it's a voting item and we cannot make that decision today. So we'd love for you all to walk away with that thought. And if not a big problem. We probably would ask to see if someone is willing to step in temporarily. So either step in permanently or temporarily until we can find someone that wants to fill in that seat. Until the seat is full, our chair usually steps in to be that support. And when she's not here, I'm here. So I just wanted to make that announcement so that when you all walk away today at the next meeting, it will be an agenda item for you all to have a discussion. Hopefully Ozzy will be back. If not, I will be here. But the whole goal of the next meeting is to talk about who either is willing to take on that seat or who may want to be the temporary until we find someone to fill that seat. Any questions?
No.
And
question.
yes, go ahead. And hopefully I can answer it.
No, I said I don't have a question.
Oh, okay. I thought you did. I was like, challenge today. Accepted. And if you want more information about, because I know this is fairly all new to you, stepped in. Thank you for being here. There is information. I don't know if he has access to our share drive where it outlines what the chair responsibilities are.
I can double check that.
Okay. So then we can, if you don't have access, we have a shared drive where we're starting to upload the information. And if you want to get an idea for both of you to kind of see what what your requirements are as the chair, hopefully the workflow is on there as well. You can take a look at that too. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. And I do want to acknowledge Michelle. Good morning. You want to introduce yourself?
Good morning, Nicole. Good morning, everyone. My name is Michelle Elizondo, and I'm the program coordinator here at the Office of Reentry and Justice. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much. All right. Since we've done with the welcomes, introductions, and announcement, we will move along to any public comment on any items under the jurisdiction of the Community Advisory Board and not on the agenda. And I do not see any public.
Not for me.
Okay.
Not for me.
All right. Okay. Seeing none, we will move on to agenda item number 3, which is the approval of the minutes from the May 21st, 2024 CAB OCEC subcommittee meeting. They should now be shown on the screen, and they are the attachment number 1, pages 4 through 7. So we'll take a second to kind of review, and then I'll be looking for a motion to approve and a second. And I got a question, Garyana, since it wasn't at this meeting, would I just sustain?
I was going to say, Garyana, I have a question too, because the only people who were present was, Ozzy and myself. So how do we handle this? Motioning and approving.
Yeah, so if there's not enough members to approve the record of action, then it will be put on to the next agenda for the next meeting.
Okay, so I recommend that it be moved to the next agenda item because we don't have enough to approve the record of action at this time.
So we can still take a vote, and
Oh,
if Nicole and Marcus want to abstain because they weren't at the meeting, then that's going to be captured, and then it would just be carried over to the next meeting for
got it.
approval.
Got it. So do we want to go ahead and move forward with the vote? Or is there any questions first, Brenda, at all regarding this agenda item since you were there?
No,
Mark, what
I
about?
mean, I
No,
don't think, were you here, Mark?
no, I wasn't.
Okay, I couldn't remember. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Again,
Gary, that means we're moving it over. We're gonna move
Yeah,
it to the.
yeah, so motion does not carry because
okay.
we can't motion it.
Hey, motion.
There you go. Okay. Okay.
All right. So our next item on the agenda is item number 4, which is to discuss, review the CAP OCEC Subcommittee Work Plan, which is attachment number 2, starts on page 8 through 9. So I wanted to have this item still here, even though we're, faced with this situation, to allow Mark to have a chance to look at it as well and have any kind of discussion in case he may have questions, since it'll be his first time actually seeing this. So I did want to leave it open for discussion between you two, if there's anything that we need to look and make some changes since Reverend Van Hook is not here. So I know, I'm sorry, I'm trying to fix my screen. So the very first one, task number 1, survey CAB or knowledge base of the current CAB members to be used to evaluate prospective new members' application in terms of the voice. So we will remove the lead as Reverend Van Hook and put open, or we could just put what? Is it okay to put open, or would it be chair, or what? I'm sorry, I'm gonna take a step back. What one do you want to lead?
I thought we had discussed removing that because we had no way of knowing basically what the knowledge base was, since Reverend Van Hook never, voiced what exactly we would be looking for. So I
Okay.
thought that last meeting that Ozzy was here, I thought we discussed maybe removing that.
Okay.
But it says ongoing, and it's like, so we've never, even last year, I don't think we addressed it.
Okay. So let's pin
the
this
survey.
one. So at the last meeting, the discussion was to remove it.
Well, I think we were going to discuss removing it because, Reverend Hook hadn't said anything. We were waiting for him to come to see if he still wanted us to work on that. And I thought we discussed removing it, maybe not.
Brenda, is it relevant to the work that OCEC wants to do moving forward? Because we can remove it, but if this is a relevant task that the OCEC wants to take on, then we can include it and we can just shape it up and change the lead, or we can remove it if you don't think this is relevant for this subcommittee.
I personally don't think it's relevant because I never got, a clear picture of what exactly what we're looking for. What kind of knowledge base was he looking for? Because he did bring it up.
So I can
So
share.
if someone else knows.
I can share some knowledge on it. So I think,
Okay,
just from my understanding, even though I haven't been at your meeting,
go ahead. Mhm.
I want to make sure this is in terms of what I think it is, in terms of the voice and knowledge based on the current CAB members will allow for the search for. I do agree with you. I don't know if we wanted to stay if it's our goal for this year, but it was something that was discussed in reference to understanding each one of our individual knowledge, where we're strong at, so that when people apply for those apply to be part of CAB, we're able to evaluate them because have that experience, that knowledge, as well as also bringing others into the committee. So it's understanding, in a nutshell, simply terms, understanding who's on our board. What is your knowledge? Meaning, how involved are you within the community? How much do you know about the things that take place around AB 109 within the community? So what is your level of expertise? So for example, like Mark, he came from Alameda from probation. I've worked with some of the CBOs. You're heavily involved with some of the CBOs out in West County and others, right? So it's understanding the individual within CAB, but I agree with you. I don't see it as one of our target focus for 2024. But again, I don't know where Ozzy's mind is at. So
Yeah,
I
that is a
definitely,
problem, yeah.
I definitely agree with you, Brenda, but I don't know where Ozzy's goals are in reference to this item. So can we pin it as maybe a removal and then,
Or bring it up again.
yeah, at the next meeting, because I want to make sure before I remove anything, because she has her ideas of what she wants to work on for CAB for 2024 within the committees. And that may be something that she gave him. So I don't want to assume to take it away without knowing. And I wanted to acknowledge Ms. Bruce at the bottom that just joined and say welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Nice to have you here. Hi. I
Hi.
thought it was you, but I wasn't sure. When I'm on Zoom, I'm trying to squint. Okay, so I think the overall goal may be to remove it, but just get that final confirmation from the chair, since Reverend Van Hook is not here, if it's something that they want to, well, not just share, but all of you guys to have that discussion if it needs to be removed, since I wasn't really part of the initial work plan. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes, okay,
Okay.
so we're gonna table this one, okay. Good.
Anything else that stands out to you that you want to?
Well, the only other thing I'm concerned about is on the responsible persons. Like we have Evan Decker on there that we need to, look at that. We have him down for
Scott.
several things, and Scott Parsons.
So
And,
can we make that a item for what is it? Next step to review the work plan and reassignment, because we first need to fill in the spot for chair, figure out what that's going to look like. We have 2 other pending people to figure out who may all come over, and then that may help you all better assign your task or reassign your task and look at what your goals are for the year.
Okay.
Website to recruit for current. I see task number 2. Looks like, I think that's done, right? To have the application listed on the appropriate Contra Costa County websites to, well, kind of, sort of. I know it's on ours, and I know Patrice sends it out. Was there something that you all were looking for in particular regarding the Contra Costa County websites? Was it just ORJ or was it other ones?
I thought it was, any of our, like, the CBOs, maybe if they had a website, or a newsletter that we could list it with.
Okay. Well, I know based on what you all have brought to the full cab, there has been some traction in that, right? So
Yes,
I know we've asked CBOs. I know that it's on the ORJ website. I know it's on the ORJ's email that they send out. I know that some of the county partners, if they're reminded, I know Council of Homeless has put on theirs once. So I know that it's ongoing and you guys have made traction in number 2. Look at me knowing what y'all doing.
okay.
I'm not sure where you put your updates, but that's an update on your task. So it's something that you're and is that an ongoing item or you want this completed by December?
What do you think, Marcus?
I think it's ongoing. I do have a question. So I'm familiar with the link that's on the ORJ website. Is there a flyer that's used for recruitment?
Didn't we develop a new flyer?
Yes.
Yeah.
We did. And it's on the website, correct? On ORJ's website?
I'm not sure it's
posted
on
it?
I'm not sure if it's on the ORJ website, but it is in the Google Drive for CAB members to, I guess, pull it when needed. But yeah, we don't have like an official place of where the like flyer lives, but that could be something that the committee could like discuss. Where could we put these flyers so we can increase recruitment to the CAB?
What do y'all think about that?
Sounds good.
So I go ahead, I'm sorry.
I had a question because I'm trying to remember, Mariana, at the last meeting we had, did Ozzy bring it up about the listing of the on the county website? Did she list? I thought she mentioned that to us, that she was really interested in where we were going to put it. But I don't remember exactly what our conclusion was to that discussion. Because what happened was, we put the work plan back, for today, we moved it for today. So I don't think we actually looked at individual sections of it. But I thought she had mentioned, I thought I heard her mentioning something about, on different websites. But my question is, what websites besides ORJ? I'm not sure who else she wanted to list it with. I had suggested that we contact some of the county libraries and see if they'll allow us to post it, because I know some of them have bulletin boards. Like I know, like the San Pablo Library, it has a bulletin board, and you can actually list, once we get their approval, we could list it there. So I thought there was a discussion about, the county libraries.
Yeah, I know that
Remember?
came up that came up out at the general CAB meeting about using county libraries as a tool to spread awareness
Okay.
about CAB and what they're doing. And I think that's a great tool to use. Are there any other additional places that the CAB can think of that we can use to spread awareness about your mission and your efforts?
What about the colleges and the adult schools?
I was just thinking, with the colleges, it's relatively easy to get approval from the student life office to have information posted on boards that are around the campus. And if needed, I could take lead on that for the 3 colleges.
What do you both think
Also,
about
someone mentioned, what is it called? Chambers of Commerce. I think Scott had mentioned that once, that, because he was on the chamber, and he mentioned that that might be a good place to also is look at the different chambers of commerce that we have to see if they are willing to list, CAB or OCEC, our recruitment. So we had started a listing of all the Office of Commerce, that we have. And I think we have, 15? I know I found 7, because I did, the City of Richmond, San Pablo, Hercules, their chambers of commerce. Then I was gonna get obligation to contact them to ask them if it were possible for us to list, our flyer on their different sites. Some of them have, websites that we could use. And what about the Board of Supervisors? Don't some of them have websites also?
Mhm. I think Jill was saying something about that as well, as we were talking about the I'm glad you brought this up, because I know we did have a discussion at the full CAB meeting. I know Cher brought that up when we were trying to figure out how to post on Facebook about the Board of Soups having their own newsletters. So that'll be great if there was a way for us to be able to include that in there, in like their newsletters they send out.
So
Did
I would
send it? Go
suggest,
ahead, I'm sorry.
I would suggest if we can make a request to either have the flyer come through ORJ or from the chief's office to the respective board of supervisors, and also to the department heads to share with their networks. I think that, that would help, and it'd be more efficient and take advantage of the connections that ORJ and the chief already has.
It's a good idea.
Would you like to take that as you would be the one responsible for?
Sure,
that?
I'll make the request.
Yeah, I mean, could we do that? Could we have Mark put the request in? It has him the person responsible for that on our work plan?
Yeah.
What do you think?
And
I'll say yeah.
yeah. And since the ORJ, yeah. So yeah, Mark, I guess we'll be in contact. I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever support you need, we're here.
Okay.
And then also, so you said, is that Mariah Bruce?
Mhm,
She was mentioning the colleges,
mhm.
what we have 3. There's Contra Costa, Los Medanos, and what's the other one?
Diablo Valley College.
Okay, those 3. And you said student life centers?
I'm happy to
Life-
do them, yeah.
Student life office.
And I don't know if it's helpful for the chambers. I'm a member of all of the ones in West County in the county Hispanic chamber. I'm sure my counterparts are members of their respective chambers that are in their area of the county. So I'm sure it would be easy enough to request the sharing of the information through the chambers as well, since we're already connected to all of those chambers of commerce. If that's helpful.
That'll be very helpful. What do you both think?
I think so.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Yes, most helpful.
Awesome. So we have Mark working on some, and then we have Mariah. Okay, helping us with
That's
this.
task number 2, correct? Is that what we're looking at?
Yes, ma'am.
The 3. Which
That's 2.
task? Okay. M&Ms, okay.
Well, it kind of combines with both though, because number 3 is county and city boards and commissions. So it's we touched on that a tad bit.
Also, we can combine that, you think?
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a reason why you guys separated in that manner? It's my first time I saw the plan.
Well, I got here, it was set up this way. So I mean, these were already here. So I'm not sure, from, I guess, what, Scott and Crawford? Because
Well,
I don't recall us adding anything, so I'm not sure.
Well, I definitely give you guys a recommendation when you come back next one, as you guys review and create your new board, you do have the opportunity to readjust your work plan how you see fit. So if you feel like things kind of fit better together, or you want to change the wording now that you have a full new board, you could definitely do that. Sorry about the pinging in the back, you guys. Sorry. But are you okay with us moving to number 3?
Yeah.
Okay. So we kind of talked about the county and city board commission, CBOs. CBOs, we kind of touched on a little bit. I know RJ has sent out information, and we talked about that at a few of the board meetings about how to get our information to be sent out through our CBOs. Was there any discussion, Brenda, that you know of that you all had here in reference to next steps regarding CBOs to bring Mark up to speed and the faith-based communities? I know we talked a tad bit about that at the full board meeting.
We spent more time discussing with the faith-based communities because we were having, Ozzy did bring that up, that there are different levels of authority that you have to go through to bring forth, our ideas. And so I think what we were thinking is, now that we have, hopefully, we have, what's her name? Spearman, Alexandria, she's in the faith-based community. She could help to guide us on how we're going to address the faith-based community, because it is a huge community out there. And they have contact with a lot of people. And I think a lot of the people that are in the area that we're trying to work with. So I would think that, hopefully she could help us. Keep my fingers crossed that she'll come in and help us, because we had issues with faith-based. Ozzy did mention that, I think she said she'd gone to tried to put together a
Some of that with you.
remember, she tried to put together something and then she ran into issues.
Yeah, I can share some of that with you, because I assisted in that. So some of the things that we ran into, and we all know faith-based organization is some of them are completely unaware of what we do and who we are. And it's educating them on it. A lot of the faith-based organizations are heavily involved within Contra Costa County. They're working with the Council of Homeless. They're working with the Board of Soups in their certain area. So they're involved from that level. And when talking to them about who we are, it's trying to get them to connect the dots and understand the importance of CAP and what we're asking for them. So I still think it's possible. In reference to the hierarchy, we all know that, you have to get the one person, get the one person to get the one person, right? So you have to know who that individual is to talk to at the organization, because they either have, for example, my church, they have, I can't even talk, I'm sorry. They have the community department that works with the homeless and the justice and impacted population. Then they have the jail ministry population. Then they have so many different umbrellas. So it's getting to that right person. So and then we have to also be careful, because in certain segments that we are, even though we're pushing faith-based, in certain areas that we can't really push it. Does that make sense? So we want to figure out, how are we uplifting the faith-based? And from my understanding, is really understanding what their services that they have, because they are touching the justice impacted population, and how to connect them, because I think it's a good resource. Like I found one in Antioch, and they do all kind of stuff, housing and food banks. I mean, you know that too. Same thing in West County. We know that there are a lot of churches that are doing the work, but yet they
Right.
don't know what's available. So how do we make them, how do we educate on both sides? How do we make them comfortable in reference to what we're trying to show them? And also on our side, make it feel welcoming that we're bringing in faith-based. Because when I used to be the program manager over Sheltering, you couldn't say that you were housing somebody in a faith-based home. You had to take away the faith. That makes sense. So that's just my feedback to you all. So it was a little bit of pullback from some of the churches of not really understanding what CAB was. So how do we get them to understand and find the proper people? Maybe Alexandra can definitely help with bridge that gap. And I believe we already have one, Ariana, I think that's gonna, what's the name of it again? I think Patrice emailed out, wait, I gotta find it, the email. I think we already have one that's reaching out for support that wants to present. Hope, is it Hope House? Genesis Church
Where's that?
in Pittsburgh.
Genesis Church. Okay.
So I think
So
it'd be important to know if the probation department has any tables that they're at where they're interacting and working with the faith-based community, because if they are, then I think that we can leverage those partnerships that are already in place. And they could be a connector for the CAB as well.
Did you say the probation department?
Yeah, because I'm assuming there's probably some areas where, it could be the chief, it could be managers that are under, the chief here that are at tables in meetings that include the faith-based communities.
that'll be a very good question, because I'm not aware of that. I know that, yeah, that'll be a great question to ask, like the chief, if they are. I'm not aware of probation being any. I know that they're heavily involved in the community with their mobile vans, and I think that's a very good question to ask, because if not, then that may be something that as a CAB we want to urge them to do, because that stigma is still there with probation in the community. I have not seen probation at any of the churches that I've been involved in Contra Costa County, because you still have that stigma and that fear of the authority of probation and the cops and things like that. So,
Understood. Does anybody from the probation department ever attend the general CAB meeting?
I haven't, no. We give you another task, right? If you can uplift
He's
that
got all the contacts now. You're like, okay, the probation. Some probation ever comes to any of the CAB
No,
meetings?
but we done gave Mark a hat. There you go.
Okay, so
He's got all the contacts.
I'm obviously new and trying to understand the hierarchy here.
So probation's never here. Usually you may see the chief pop in. When we ask her, she has popped in more. But usually you'll just see the committee members. You may see a lot of our county partners. You may see some community individuals. And then of course we have the ORJ staff, but you don't really see probation in here a lot. You may see them when it comes to item on our agenda. For example, when we did the AB 109 access funding, that extra additional money, that's when you've seen like the public defenders and individuals in here. But on a regular meeting, you won't really see them around. And not because I don't even know if we extended the invitation. They know about it, but I think maybe with you bringing that up, that is something that we look at this year of how do we bring them to the table now to be more a part of that conversation.
Yeah, I would recommend that we do make that request, and the reason, for several reasons, for some of the questions that we're talking about, and then also for us to be mindful that we're not stepping on their toes in any way, and also to leverage some of the partnerships and the relationships that they have that are established that we may not even know about, that would make it more efficient for the work that we would like to do.
Okay, that's a good point. I don't think Well, I speak for me. Didn't think about that, and I've been in CAP for a very long time. So I think I
It-
appreciate you bringing that to the table.
Is ORJ under the probation department or housed within the probation department?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
So you would be our conduit though, right?
Yeah,
Or Jay
I
would
would
be our,
assume.
would be our conduit
Yeah.
for, for the probation department.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think these are all great questions, and I can follow up with Patrice.
okay.
Okay. Because like you said, if we don't want to step on anyone's toes, we want to educate them on, what we're doing and what we hope to do, but we also don't want to alienate them by trying to do something that they can say, look, we've already taken care of that, or at least let us know.
Right, and I don't want it to, where we have to spend a lot of work doing
Right.
some of these
If
things.
they've
that don't
already-
need to be that difficult to
Right.
do.
Should be a very simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Are we okay with number 3?
Yes.
Okay, and then we could take Evan Decker off
Yes.
for number 3.
Yeah.
Task number 4. OCEC will work with RJ in reviewing the CAP membership application and follow the operating guidelines to create an application pool.
I believe that's completed.
Okay,
Ariana, I think that was actually completed because, yes, we did look at the CAB membership applications. And the issue that we had was that were we in compliance with the operating guidelines? And so I believe, ORJ actually did that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't think there's any issues with our application process. I don't think we're violating any of the operating guidelines. We're just trying to find ways to invite more people to the table.
How
so
many
we are-
vacancies do we currently have
3, 4? For CAB or
for CAB?
for CAB?
We have a total of 9 members. It's a 12-member board. We just had 2 people apply, so hopefully they come on board, then we'll have 11. So we have 1 vacancy and 3 alternates
okay,
remaining.
so we're making some traction. So good job.
So task 4, can we mark as completed?
And number 5, I have a question. That would be ongoing, right, Brenda? Because that's interview the prospective new CAP member applications. That's like an ongoing
Yes.
process. Okay,
That's ongoing, yes.
so if we could change the timeline to ongoing.
Yes, this is ongoing.
Task number 6 is completed because you've already done that for this year.
Mhm.
Or do we leave that open for the upcoming year? Yeah, it says June and December, so that would be for the one for
Is that a retreat?
2025.
Hmm.
And correct me if I'm
I
wrong,
think-
'cause I'm guessing.
Okay. I think it's already been developed. And so schedule the onboarding orientation training. Is that our retreat?
Yeah,
That's what this is about? It's a retreat, right?
yeah,
So,
you have to plan for 2025.
okay. So this would be ongoing. So this is an annual thing, if I
Yeah, yep.
understand correctly. This is annual? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and for that task, I worked a lot with Crawford. He helped a lot to develop the retreat. So we just have to be
Right.
mindful of who would take that spot.
So we'll make a note of that then.
Yeah,
We need a-
because that person would work with the ORJ to help plan the retreat in January.
Okay. We need one.
Yeah, it was Crawford for the past 2 years.
Oh, yeah, you do, okay. Oh. We need to assign someone, okay.
And I would probably say, look at what if you guys have the opportunity in one of your meetings, look at what he put together. Because you do have the opportunity to change it because you do have new members, but look at if it's available, the one we did last year with the just a quick recap is coming up because I have to, whoever does it with RJ, he end up pulls in the vice chair, and the chair. So it's putting together the agenda for the meeting, assigning who's going to do what, meaning who's going to present in certain parts of it, helping put together the PowerPoint. We already have one, so if it wants to be changes in that's pretty much what the process is, and then working with the full cab in reference to scheduling what those days will look like for the orientation. So that's like a quick overview of what those tasks are. So it's already written from 2024 and 2023. So if it was me, it would be looking at what's in place, kind of like what Mark said, is not making it hard on you guys and seeing if you want to change something. You know, has anything changed this year that you may want to update? Maybe you want to restructure how he wrote it or something like that. But look at what we have and then identify, do we want to keep it that way or do we want to change it? And again, I won't say hard, but the one step that he had to do is figure out who was going to do what part. And he really uplifted new members. So instead of having the existing members that have been here for a long time taking on spots, he really encouraged for new members to take on the spot, to kind of take on a section of the PowerPoint.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Is that a good recap?
Yes, okay, okay.
I know a lot this
Okay.
brain of mine here. Any questions before we move on?
Hey, but so just so Mark know, it's on I think it's on the Google Drive, right? Yeah, so when she gives you access to it, because that's what I tend to do. I'll go to the Google Drive
Okay.
and look at things to say, okay, this is how they, they did what they did. So it's not that difficult. So if we need to assign it to someone, I guess it's me, because I can't keep throwing everything at Marcus and or my new non-existent people. So I guess I'll work with ORJ and I'll be the person, the resource for this one.
Thank you.
Number 6.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Brianna will be working together. Okay. Okay.
Number 7, OCEC will ensure that all CAB members who are selected to be on the board after the annual training are offered and receive the essential elements of that orientation to meet their training needs. Do we want to talk more on what that was about?
Sure. Because that was Scott, so I'm not sure what
We didn't receive.
I'll have to look at our minutes from
Okay.
previous meetings to see what exactly task number 7 was, because I know Scott took it over. So yeah, can we review that one?
Yeah, that's fine.
7.
Let's remove Scott's name.
I'll look on the Google Drive to see look for this.
Receive elements of the orientation to meet their training.
Scan off. Okay.
And then see if he put anything on there. I know that at one point Scott and Crawford was having us make calls to new members. They had delegated. I don't know if that document is on there, but they had created a call log. So they had assigned to some of us after the annual treat that we were not required, but asked if we were called some of the new members to kind of check in. We have not done that in a little bit either, and we have new members. And then there was also a task to like sign a mentorship person, like a mentor person. So I don't know if Ozzy is still following it or not, so that if we can ask her for number 7 I know those were some of the things that Crawford had left, and then when she took over, she had took on more of that role as well. So I'm not sure if that's tied to number 7. It sounds like it. I didn't know where it fell in under your work plan, but I know that those were some of the things that Scott and Crawford and Ozzy, they had assigned outside of your committee. So maybe it was tied to that. I'm not sure.
Because I don't recall that discussion on number 7.
Okay.
It's a good idea because actually contacting, because I know Crawford, when I first joined, he called me. I did not realize that was part of the task, but he did call and check in on me. So I think it makes sense, and the mentorship part for new members is I think it could be highly helpful. So I guess we need to move that to Ozzy to see if she's been working on that or what.
Yeah, and if you could add this too to that, I know there was at one of our meetings when Latanya first came on, it was tabled as a new member asking for like those, how we put together the talking points or,
Oh, for the ambassador.
well,
The
no, not the
ambassador-
ambassador, just like period, like, as a new member, giving them like talking points when they have to run a meeting. So say, for example, you're out and Mark has to run a meeting. If he doesn't know how to run it, instructions on how to run the meeting, that wasn't really given out. So some of the members have said it was really helpful that Crawford kind of put together those documents of talking points, the introduction, how to actually construct a meeting. So I know those are some of the feedback that we were giving at our last retreat, but I'm not sure what happened after that.
We need to investigate that one.
Okay.
So is that number 7?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we think it might be, okay, so that means I'm gonna spend a lot of time on the Google Drive, trying to find all this information to hopefully, because I'm assuming Crawford left it somewhere in writing so that we'll know what we're looking for.
I think
So I guess that's my assignment, to look to see what's out there. Yeah. For mentoring, I'm just gonna call it mentoring.
yes, if you could do that, that'll be great. That, I mean, by either
Okay,
if
I'll look it up.
Ozzy's back or if she's not and I'm here, then we kind
Okay.
of have an idea of what's in there. I know that ORJ has been trying to get things uploaded when we ask. I'm not sure if it's all there yet. I'm trying to sneak and look while I'm talking to y'all. To see.
Okay, okay. Yes, but I'll do that. I'll look on the Google Drive to see if, are there talking points? No,
Okay, perfect. Okay. So let's move
Number 7, right?
along.
Yeah, okay.
And before I just move right along, is there any other questions before we move to community outreach?
No,
Okay. So for community outreach, you have 4 items here. The first one is supposed to be doing May, so update the, you're moving too quick, update the CAP outreach presentation PowerPoint to reflect the current CAP policy statement and platform. And that was supposed to be doing May, and Scott was in charge of that. Do we know if that was done?
I thought that was completed. Yes. That, we'll have to look at the Google Drive again, but I know Scott and Crawford had a big discussion about that. And I have seen the PowerPoint.
Okay,
So, yeah, they did. It was discussed.
Okay.
And I believe it was correct. Another one for me? I don't know. I'll be doing a lot of researching here. Maybe we should get, I was thinking, I don't know how to approach that one.
I was trying to see if I can look real quick to see, archive.
It can also be agendized for the next subcommittee meeting, if that's something that the subcommittee would like to do, is to look at the CAB outreach presentation to see if there's opportunities to make revisions or edits.
I think that makes the most sense, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And Brenda, there is a PowerPoint up there, but it's dated June 2023 in the
23?
drive.
On the Google Drive, okay.
So the next one, task number 1, we'll roll it over to the next meeting to look at the actual PowerPoint. Okay, thank you for that, Garyana. Task number 2, identify and log the county and city board commission, CBOs, faith-based and community meetings that directly affect the reentry population. So this goes back to that spreadsheet that we were talking about at full cap, that we said Reverend Brett and Brent Hook has, excuse me. Brenda, did you say that you had a copy of the last spreadsheet?
Yes, well, I had a copy of what Reverend Van Hook sent me. I have been spending the last couple of days trying to find it. I know he sent it to me, so I just need to look. It was a very intense spreadsheet of over 100 faith-based organizations. You know, every religious denomination, I think he included. And he did
Okay.
mention that there is one person that wherever he got this information from is responsible for responding for the group. So I need to find that email that he sent out to find out exactly, who it was, because Crawford had also talked to someone off this list that Reverend Van Hook, compiled for us. My question is, can we, if we can't find it, is there an objection to us going to Van Hook to ask him if he could, resend it to us?
I was gonna ask you the same question.
Is that an issue?
Okay.
I don't think so. I think you can ask him to send you the list again.
Okay, I'll ask him. Okay. It's right here.
Seek community input, concern, and recommendations. So that second part in there, do we know what
Yeah,
that meant in that same task too? After the list, it says seek community input, concern, and recommendations for reentry services. For example, HIP, Quack, RSC Steering Committee, CCP, PPC, BOSS. Do we know what that last little blurb was for?
That was something that, see, Reverend Van Hook brought up, and I
Okay.
just had volunteered to work with him, so I'm not quite sure. The community input?
So what it looks like to me is that, this spreadsheet is more than just the faith-based community. It's also to get an inventory of other meetings or other tables that get together and meet regarding reentry, and then CAB to engage with those bodies to get their input on if there's any reentry needs in the community. So I could help you out with this one and start
Okay.
putting together a spreadsheet of not the faith-based, but the other
Ones? Yeah,
meetings in the
okay.
community.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Because I think we had started with the city boards, we were looking at that, and commissions. Okay. So I guess that's you and I, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. That's Marcus and Brenda, the BMs. Okay.
And then the Quack meeting, I sit on that meeting for CAP.
Which one? Sorry.
Quack. The QA.
Did you sit on?
I go to that meeting for CAP.
Okay. I see, oh, this one.
That's usually with the chief and then Susan from the director of behavioral health and then myself from CAP.
Oh.
So we can update from Brenda Lee and Reverend Van Hook, if Mark, if you don't mind, from Brenda and Mark, and then they can share that task.
Yeah. Yes, we do. Whew. Is that it?
Almost, we got 2 more, I think.
No, I just saw this. Oh, okay. This is all of us. Okay.
So task number 3 will attempt to visit monthly and participate by other means a minimum of 1 county or city board commission, RCOS, and community meeting that directly affect the reentry population. Okay, so it looked like at that time Evan took that on.
That was his.
CAP representative will attempt to visit monthly.
I don't
So
think
this
we
doesn't
ever
look
got
like
any.
it doesn't look like this is just directly to your committee, it's CAB itself. So I know that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is in reference to the CAB members, like we have, for example, I joined Quack, we have Sewanee Council of Homeless, Measure X, sometimes we join some of the PPC, CCP, Board of Soups, those different meetings. Is that what this is pertaining to?
I think so.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah,
Okay. So this one's ongoing, right?
right.
And do you want to make that all instead of just one person, so it's more like an ongoing?
Yeah, it should be all. My question is, if we go to these meetings, is there any Brown Act violation if 2 of us go to it? Does it matter? If we make, quorum if say Mark and I decide to go to CCP? Is that
Yeah.
a issue?
Yeah, I think the feedback that I've heard is just try not to sit next to each other and definitely do not discuss like CAB related issues or matters at the meeting.
Okay.
So
Okay. All right.
And just to piggyback, I would say you were running to more than one person because I'm at all of them. So And I also think it's when you're there, what you're representing yourself as. So usually if I notice there's several CAP members there, I won't go in I won't talk about CAP stuff, and I won't put myself down as a CAP member. I will come as either Nicole or another position I'm in, due to how many people are in there. But I'm usually at meetings and there are more than one of us. They're either on Zoom or in person. And like Garyana said, we don't sit by each other, to make sure it doesn't cause any issues. So, but I don't know if there is, I know at one point Crawford was tracking that, but I don't know if we're tracking who's doing what. I just know off the top of my head because I've been here for a long time. But if you guys are not tracking, I think it's a good idea to track the meetings that you want somebody at. And then just a recommendation is, I'm not trying to get you more work, and then notate who's going. Because I know we've added Measure X. I know we've added AOD. Patrice and Jill usually come back with information regarding BOS, PPC, or CCP. And then we have Raina Moore at Council of Homeless. Then I go to Quack, and I know that Latoya was thinking about going back to mental health. We don't have anybody on mental health right now, and we do need somebody on that. At one point, someone from CAB would join the mental health meeting. They have a justice committee on mental health. So no one, I don't know if Latoya signed up yet, but no one's going to the mental health meetings. And those are the last Wednesdays of every month. And it's sad that I know all of this, but I do. So, yeah. So I don't
I'll
know.
call you back. Call you
Oh,
back.
I'm sorry.
No, that was somebody trying to reach me. They just won't give up. So you said it's the last Wednesday of each month?
It's the last
Is that-
Wednesday
that's
of every
mental
month.
health?
Yep, it's at 5 o'clock, so it's after hours.
5 PM, and it's called what? Mental
It's
health?
the mental health. I can tell you one second. And maybe it's sharing that link. I don't know, Gary, if RJ can share that link, but there is the agenda link where, so there's a separate one for like the county board ones, and there's a separate one for the community advisory board with every single link on there. It is called sorry, let me pull it up. It's the mental health. I know Measure X is the third one. Is it I think I added it to. Did I delete it? I'm trying to find it for you all. I have to go in there and look. I don't want to give you, I know it's mental health something, and it's usually the last,
Wednesday, you said?
yep, the last Wednesday. And then Measure X is the third. Mental health is the fourth Wednesday of every month, and then Measure X is the third Wednesday of every month. And those are the ones that are after hours. So usually if I
Okay.
join those are, I join those from Zoom.
Okay. You said now, wait, so now mental health is the fourth Wednesday? Or the?
Yes.
The fourth Wednesday at 5
I
PM.
found it.
Oh, you did?
So it's called the Mental Health Commission, but there's a Mental Health Commission, and they moved the one for June though.
Okay.
I'm trying to. So they have two different, just gotta figure out which one is best for us. I haven't seen any committee meetings yet for their justice involved one, but they do have a justice committee. So they have the Mental Health Service Act Advisory Board, and then they have the Mental Health, Commission.
The website I'm on has it as being the third Tuesday.
So they
I don't know
moved
if it's changed.
it. I think it did, because I don't see it on my thing anymore. Thank you.
Here's the link to the webpage.
Yeah, it's moved. So it's on Tuesday. The next one is, they had one today at 3:30, but the next one is 6:20 at 3:30. So maybe we can get the link sent out to the committee, and that way you guys can look at the I always look at the different links, and then kind of figure out, and that's something that that you guys can decide. I don't want to add no more to you, but figure out what's really important for CAP. Who's already going and who's not going, and what committee member do we want to go to those meetings? And then we have to notify Garyana of that, because then she'll have to add it to the agenda so we can have a report out.
Okay. So someone's getting us a link to see which one of these committees are up there. And are we responsible for setting up a, oh, why did I want to call me today? Oh.
I recommend a list, but it's y'all committee. I'm just here just to.
I'm trying to say, do we,
So I think we need, well, here's my suggestion. I
Yeah,
think
come on.
we compile a list of the meetings that are being held, and then we should prioritize them and then make a recommendation to the general CAB body on which ones we think.
would benefit?
CAB should.
Yeah, because didn't you mention that some of you are already on some of these committees? I
Correct.
know, well, I know Nicole is. So as part of this, this list, we can also say, if we already know someone is there, then that'll help us to decide, okay, well, we have this one covered, and then, something else. So
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
yeah, if we could get that would make it easier on us.
Okay. So do we want to change the time frame to
When are we looking at, number 3 or 4? 3.
task 3?
I think that should be ongoing, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we should.
Yeah, I was gonna say ongoing, but I want you guys to, I don't want to change your work plan.
I already wrote ongoing, so I think.
Yeah, we did.
Let's
You know,
do that, yeah.
we already did that. We put ongoing because it's like it makes more sense.
And does it make
But,
more sense for all instead of just assign that to one person?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, last one, y'all. Task number 4. Coordinate the CAB ambassador program to assign CAB members to be ambassadors. So we do want to make sure that we share the information with Mark. It is going to be on a shared drive, what the ambassador meeting is. Just my recommendation, maybe give him a second to kind of look at it, and then maybe bring it back to see if he has any questions that y'all want to talk about, because I don't think he's seen it yet.
No, I haven't. That sounds good to me, Nicole.
Yes, definitely he needs to. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. This is just.
Brendan, if you need some, I know Ozzy's not here, but if you need some help, just text me and let me know.
Okay.
'Cause I've
Okay.
access to the shared
So
drive too, so.
yeah. I forgot to text her and say, how you doing? So now I feel bad. I feel bad. So today I am going to text her just to say, how you doing? And that's it, okay?
All right.
Yeah, because, okay, the ambassadors program, right?
Mhm.
Because didn't we discuss that at you weren't in Nicole, with Ozzy? We didn't, I thought, Ariana, I thought we discussed the ambassador program and to assign CAB members to be ambassadors. Didn't we I think we had that at our last meeting, and that
Yeah.
might have been, she wanted to table or something that we needed to look at. We needed to start preparing it to
Yeah.
see.
Oh, go
Okay,
ahead.
yeah.
Sorry. Oh, no, yeah, that's something that Ozzy brought up. Her concern was it seemed like she wanted more members to be actively involved and to attend these meetings. So she wanted to get ahead of assigning members to who they're going to meet with. But I think the process for the ambassadors meetings is already set, but that would be something that Marcus can review, and then that we can further discuss at next meeting if there's any other questions.
And I would, to tag on to that, is after he review it, address any questions, and to piggyback off of Ozzy, I think it's starting to, because I know usually at OCEC, that's where the assignment part starts. And then you guys usually come to CAB and tell us where we've been assigned to. So
How we
that
did
part-
it? Okay.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that part well, at least that's how Crawford presented it. So that's
Okay, okay.
that's the piece that needs to be done. So it's getting Mark up to speed exactly what is the ambassador mean. So in case he has questions, we can bring him up to speed on that. And then as a committee, is you putting us in where you believe that you guys decide where we fit. And I know if there's any open items, I know last year, if there's any open spaces, it was brought to the committee to say who volunteered and people raised their hand or did not. And then that was it. But it's already June. So I think I agree with her to get started on it because we have to schedule those meetings.
Right, right. So, okay. I thought we had didn't we have a template of the different
Yeah.
organizations that we
Hmm.
meet with?
Yeah, you just
Okay,
have to reassign the
Right.
folks and also who's going to be lead, who's going to be second.
Right, right. So,
But we have that, so that can be just for like next meeting. We can just take a look at that template and just reassign the current cab members
members to
to,
it. Okay.
yeah.
So here's my question. Since it comes, so OCEC will bring forth I'll call it a template, correct? And we're going to insert individuals into these different spots. I thought I remember, Cole, did we volunteer last time? He would mention it and then we'd say who wanted to be on which grouping, because I know I did a couple with was it Evan Decker?
I think you're right. I was just voluntold because I was his wing girl. So
Was that?
I think that you're right, but in my mind, I was just voluntold, so I don't feel like I have a choice. So
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think you're
And
right.
also
okay.
what happened, I think Evan left in the middle of the semester, like not the semester. Evan
But
left
the
in the middle
process.
of the year and like Lanita also dropped off in like the middle of the year. So we had to like replace those folks. So
Yeah,
that's
those
when
spots.
Crawford, yeah, that's
Mhm.
might have when Crawford asked like who can take those, who can fulfill those open meeting
Okay.
spots.
It may be a good idea too at our next meeting, because we have 2 other new members, right? Is to just talk
Right.
about the ambassador and what that looks like and bring everybody up to speed if we have time at the meeting to do so, because we have new people that don't know what the ambassador meeting is.
That was gonna be, you read my mind, because
Oh,
that's what I
see?
was thinking.
Your mind speaking like I like.
Yes, yeah. I'm like, well, we got these new people and we need to bring them on board, get them, acclimatized to what's going on. So I don't like the idea of throwing them in, feet first. It's like, this is what it's about. And they can hear, and usually the new people are the second. Remember
Right.
a senior people would be the first person, right? Be number one, and then the new person would be two, so that they could get an idea of what's going on. And Crawford, very, very good in writing people. This is your talking point for this meeting, okay? If you're talking to a supervisor, you blah blah blah. You introduce yourself and you mention cab. But what's really nice about it is that all the supervisors know cab.
And this
Okay, I
and
mean,
this and this time we may have to look at, we don't have a lot of senior people as much. We have me, you, Ozzy, Latoya, if she feels like it. Renee Moore may not, she may not feel like senior. Rena Moore, sorry, may not feel like she's senior.
okay.
She just did her first one. Jeffrey's new. So it may be,
Okay, I
my
see.
recommendation may want to be as far as senior people who want to step up and lead, because I'm honestly, my hand will be raised to do more calls with
Yeah.
people, because majority of the folks that are here are new. So I wouldn't want to
Right.
put them in the hot.
Put that burden on. Okay.
Right, of the burden. I did, how many I did last time? 4 or 5. So it's,
4 or 5, yeah.
yeah, I did. I think I did 4 or 5. Because and this time we have a lot of new folks, so it's going to be seeing if anybody want to volunteer to help mentorship this part.
Mm.
I mean, you can write me down. I will raise my hand to be a support, because they're not going to know anything about the ambassador.
So I do know at our next if we can, at our next meeting, we do need to discuss that.
Yeah.
The ambassador program, to bring, okay, let me back up. So the 2 new people that we think we're gonna get, have they been presented to CCP? Are they already approved or not? No.
No.
So we have to wait for that. So that may not be until August, right?
I hope so.
That's
Yeah,
not
I mean,
August.
saying,
They don't have
because,
oh, go ahead, Brenda.
no, I'm with you. They don't have another meeting until what, late July?
It hasn't been scheduled yet, but I think they have a tentative one for September.
So we'd have to wait until September to bring them on board.
If hopefully they can get one before then, but I heard that there's going to be a tentative CCP meeting in September.
Wow.
And our ambassador program starts, I thought Ozzy wanted to start what, in August?
Yeah, we'll have to start without them.
Yeah. So it's gonna be the senior people.
I guess. Well,
Yeah,
it's gonna be us, period. It'll be us, period, right?
yeah, because Jeffrey is still new. And then we have Mark, so it's just gonna be me, you, Latanya. Renee is still new too. So technically we have 3 new. I don't know how Rena Moore feel about, she only did just her last year was her first one. I did that
Okay.
with her, and then really 3 other seniors. So it's really, yeah, that's the reality
We're
of it.
gonna be, okay. Okay.
That's gonna be interesting. We're gonna be busy. Okay.
We'll figure it
So
out.
we know for next time. Okay. No, we'll do, okay, I have confidence we'll do it. So next, our OCEC's next meeting, we've got to be sure the ambassador program is part of the agenda.
Correct.
Because we have to bring Marcus and Jeffrey up to speed.
At least get them introduced to it.
And Renee.
So-
Oh, Renee, okay, I'm sorry. She's so quiet, she sits there, sorry, I keep
So
forgetting,
she
okay.
hasn't done it yet either.
Okay,
She hasn't done it.
just to clarify, so just to clarify what you're saying, Brenda, at the next CAB general meeting, you want an agenda item to review the CAB ambassadors guide.
OCEC meeting.
Okay. Because
Yeah, I think 'cause we
Jeffrey's not
first,
at the
right?
OCEC meeting.
Oh,
Jeffrey
oh, I
won't be
see.
at the
Oh.
OCEC meeting.
So I guess it does have to be a cap then, right?
But I do agree, it is something that you can talk about at the next OCEC meeting, and then maybe at the CAB meeting,
Okay,
follow up.
Okay, okay.
So OCEC meeting first, and then after you guys talk, then bring to the next CAB meeting. So that should roll out to about what, August?
yeah, because our next is until July, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Cap will be
OCEC
August.
meets after CAB general meeting.
I
Usually.
mean, and at your next meeting and for OCEC, if you guys talk about it, I mean, talking to the new people can start before the CAB meeting. It doesn't have to wait to the CAB meeting. So if there's a determination that there's going to be mentorship, folks reaching out, we can do that before the next CAB meeting.
Correct.
How do we get, okay, so we need to bring this, oh no, it's OCEC, I'm thinking, so Ozzy is CAB. So do we have to get her involved in anything? I think we should.
No, we should, if she's going to be
Right.
back next month, is bringing her up to speed on kind of like what we talked about today, and definitely getting her lead in reference to reaching out to everybody because she's the chair. So
Right.
it's contacting, I'm just thinking of when Crawford was here, he would always call, right? And then just say, hey, can you take this task on? So we can still do this work, but even before the CAB meeting. You guys can't talk.
Right,
But
I can, Mark and I cannot.
you can't talk, but there's ways to get information out, even if it's from Garyana and them to send an email out. If the chair can call certain people along and out on the board. So there's ways that we can still start this process after y'all have y'all discussion in July, so that we don't have to wait to the next full CAB meeting to be able to do that. But I think it's a good idea if we can, and we can bring this back to Ozzy. My recommendation is there's a way we can get started now talking to the new people and helping them understand what's coming up to prepare them for August, because once August get here, we gotta hit the ground. That's usually when we start to hit the ground running and start making meetings and setting and scheduling stuff. So we have to start working on it now.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
agree. I think it would be beneficial to use the next general CAB meeting because it's before your next OCE meeting to
Okay.
tell the new members, this is what the ambassador's guide, this is an ambassador program, this is what it's going to look like. And OCEC is going to start scheduling or start drafting the schedule for you all to meet with these folks.
Right,
Right.
right. Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right. Any other questions regarding your work plan? I came to work today, y'all.
It is appreciated. It is appreciated. Okay.
All right.
Got the
So
Right.
before I move on to number 6, are we done with the work plan?
Yes,
Okay.
as far as
So
I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Marcus, you have any issues with it?
No issues.
Okay. Questions, concerns?
Nope.
That go to, that's what they say. Questions, concerns?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay, all right.
Next item on the agenda is I'm sorry, I'm going back up to finalize the outreach for membership recruitment. So that's the attachment, attachment number 3, page 10 that she put up. Ozzy talked about this at our last board meeting. And we brought this back to, I know at the last meeting when she talked about it, it was brought back to OCEC, discussed with Reverend Van Hook. What Ozzy was trying to do is see if anybody on the board would be willing to take one of these individuals, to be able to reach out. We actually have one on the phone with us now, but to reach out to the individuals to help with recruitment and sharing information. So you can mark off one of them. And I know it was supposed to be brought back here for discussion because not too many folks raised their hands. So my recommendation is probably to table this until Ozzy get back, because I don't know what her direction. I mean, you can give her some good feedback that Mariah was here and already stepped in to raise her hand to help us out, but kind of get her perspective of this, because it really wasn't that much feedback given to you all at the full cap. If someone was going to take, it was supposed to be structured like the ambassador meeting, like, taking on that individual, reaching out to them, telling them who CAB is, and then ask, seeing if they can also advertise and share the information to kind of recruit more. So did you guys talk about this at the last meeting at all?
I don't recall us discussing this. Because
No,
my question is,
sorry, Brenda, go ahead.
I'm looking, I'm like, I know I've heard about, we did talk about the rising scholars, but I'm not sure if that was at CAB or was that at OCEC.
That was
Where did this list come from? I guess is my question.
It was the one, I don't know if you recall, that was presented at full cap, and Ozzy had asked, she was asking, what she was recommending was if individuals willing, and Mariah, I see your hand, if individuals were willing to sign up for one of these individuals to be that person that goes out and talk to them. So for example, if I said I was going to sign up for Mariah, I would be my responsibility to reach out to her, explain to her what CAB is. And the goal was for recruitment. How can we recruit? How can they help us recruit? So that was the last discussion, but it wasn't that much take at CAB. Not too many folks raised their hand to volunteer. So the recommendation was to bring it back to you all's table to see if it was something that you wanted to spearhead.
Oh, that's
So,
all.
so
Did I catch it all,
my
Gary?
2 cents, not knowing the background, it seems real specific and focused on education. And I think that some of the tasks on the work plan will cast a wider net with recruitment. And I think we already have Mariah that's on the call that's talked about being able to help us with recruitment anyway. And so, I think certainly we need to follow up with the CAB chair, but I don't think that this is necessary at this point.
Okay. So we can note that and then just bring it back at the next meeting if she's here, and then they can make their final decision. And I apologize, Mariah, seeing your hand raised. Did you still want to give some feedback?
Yeah, no worries. I was just trying to get clarity. So I'm connected to all of these people in some way.
Right,
So,
Okay.
so if I can get clarity on what exactly is needed.
It was pretty much what we talked about today. Like that
okay. So just the recruitment and for the board, and just making sure that like everyone's clear on what that is and shares out the opportunity with their community and anyone who might be interested.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah. And just to add on, Mariah, I know Ozzy was very interested in recruiting transitional age youth to the board. So that's why it was such a focus on like education, because that's where we thought like the TAY youth was or could be. So that's why it was a big focus on education. But yeah, recruitment, but there's a primary focus on like recruiting TAY youth to the board to get that perspective on the
Okay.
body.
Mariah, we
Understood.
only got one more seat left, I'm gonna use the opportunity to recruit.
I have a feeling I'll have a conversation with Dimitri. I feel like one of us will probably step up to that, one or the other.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome sauce. So I think we should just make that note of our connection with Mariah today and what we talked about, because I think we already covered it. Same thing that Mark just said, the feedback from the committee, and just put it there so that when Ozzy's back, we can bring her up to speed and have that discussion with her.
Well, that would be at CAP or with OCEC or both?
OCEC.
Okay, OCEC. Okay. Yeah. She could have an intense discussion about it, but my question, I looked at this, I'm with Marcus, and it's like, well, Contra Costa College, so it's like, maybe we just need one person from Contra Costa College, can be the contact person, and then, because it seems repetitive, if we're gonna, talk to, I have nothing against this, John
Right.
Stepp, the professor, we're gonna discuss CAB with him, then we're gonna turn around and discuss it with, Dr. Gonzalez. So, I'm not quite sure what her idea was for this. I know she, she's very passionate about it, but what was her end goal, I guess, is what I'm trying to figure out.
It was what
Okay.
Garyana just said about Tay. We're trying to get in front of the transitional age youth. And so her thought process,
Okay.
yep, was going to the colleges to be able to do that and
Mm.
just for more outreach. But I'm glad it was brought back here, because just from me not being part of this committee and we talking about it at board, it's already part of your work plan. You're already doing it. So maybe that part wasn't, it's making sure adding to your work plan that is also touching on transitional age youth, because that was really where her heart and passion was. So looking at your work plan right now, you're doing what she's asking, right? It's just maybe it's adjusting the verbiage and not just adults, but transitional age youth, so you don't forget about that age group. So adding those little key things to your work plan.
Got it. Okay. So we're gonna add that to one of these.
And it's if it's up to you guys if you really want it back in the agenda, but it's just bringing her back up to speed and letting her know, hey, this has been worked on. This is what we decided. We're working with Mariah. We're touching on it. And then, adjust your work plan on how you see fit to add those key little elements to it, like transitional age youth and all that type of stuff in it.
This is basically what this is. Okay. Got it. Okay.
All right. And so I know this is not on the agenda. I know where the time's coming, but I really want to take a chance to look at this. It's an update on the AB 109 annual mini summit planning process. It's not in the agenda. I believe it was handed out, so I apologize to you all on Zoom. It's not a voting item or anything. But I just wanted to give you an opportunity. I just had it in front of me. Sorry. An opportunity to look it over. This is we have our annual summit come up. So Mark, to kind of bring you up to speed, what that is we started it last year where CAB wanted to look at other CAB and committees in other cities. How are they doing it? How are they set up, and try to bring a forum where we all come together and share and communicate with each other more. Probation, whatever the case may be, other AB 109 boards. I mean, last year we were determined that there wasn't a lot of boards in the community, so we ended up having probation there, which was fine. We ended up having some programs there. So we want to see what's being done in other cities and kind of bring everyone together to talk about the work. And it was amazing last year because we learned so much about different ideas. It's kind of like what you talked about earlier, where like I said, probation inside of Contra Costa County, not stepping on anyone's toes, learning what's already being done, not duplicating the work, right? And learning from each other. So that's pretty much what the AB 109 Summit is. This year, I'm really excited about it. And so Ozzy put together an agenda. This agenda will need to be shortened. We cannot cover all of this within the committee. It's not enough time. Ozzy is going to be working with RRJ, and they're going to be reviewing this. And since she's out, we haven't had the opportunity to do so. So I did ask Garyana if we can at least put it into your agenda so you all can have your eyes on it, because it's the work of your committee, right? So getting the idea of what Ozzy is thinking about, giving any feedback that you may think that we can take back, so that when RRJ do have this meeting with the chair, that feedback that you all have can be also taken in consideration. Ozzy's goal for today was she was hoping to finalize this survey with you all, but because she's out, the meeting with RRG hasn't happened yet. So I did not want to miss this opportunity to have it in front of you, so you can kind of see the draft and then get your opinion on Do you see anything that may be combined? Do you want to take away something? Do you have another idea that we can add? So that's what this document is.
This is a 2.5 hour program, right? The
That is
summit,
correct. Yep.
and we're gonna try and do all of this in 2.5 hours. Hmm.
Is there a digital version that might be able to be shared on the screen?
I have to ask Ariana.
Sorry, Mariah. Unfortunately, the agenda wasn't included in the agenda packet, so we
Okay.
cannot show the public. But
Got it.
Nicole can
I can read it.
yeah.
Okay, I'll read
Okay.
it to you. So the first section, let's start, and thank you for that, because then that urges me to kind of go through each section, or we go sit here and stare at each other. The first section is the introduction, which is the welcome. We want to give an overview of AB 109 and its implications, and an introduction of our key speakers and participants. So that should not take that long, right? I think it's, and as I'm talking, you guys can talk back, just stop me. In reference to the overview of the AB 109, I think it's a good idea. I know at our last one, a lot of different cities didn't have a cap. They didn't, their structure is completely different than ours. So they were really excited to understand who we were and what we did. What do you feel about the introduction section? Do you like it the way it is, or?
Nicole, can you clarify for me who attends the summit?
So our goal is to reach out to other boards within other cities. So Solano, Santa Clara, Alameda, for their boards, if they have a board. If not, then we're reaching out to their CCP. So we're reaching out to the other counties to say, hey, do you have a community advisory board like us? And if not, who can you send in that represents that structure for your programming? So last year, Alameda County, Alameda was the only one that said they had a cap. So we had Alameda, we had Santa Clara County, there wasn't a cap, but they sent in their, I forgot the name of their program, forgive me. We do have a list on our share drive. We have a list on our share drive of everyone that attend, but there was only one cap. There was only one committee that attended last year, which was Alameda. Our audience that we really wanted was other committees that are doing the same work that we were doing, to understand how they're structured. That was the initial goal, but we end up getting more programs than boards and committees.
Yeah, because there's that I'm aware of, I think that there's only 3 community advisory boards in the state out of the 58 counties.
Okay.
I know there's one in Southern California.
See, that's good to
There's,
know.
Contra Costa County was the first, and then our community advocates wanted a community advisory board in Alameda County, and that's how that one was formed. And I think that there is one that may be called something else in San Francisco for the adults, and then there might be a CAB in Sacramento County.
So San Francisco did come. It wasn't a committee. You are correct. It's called something else, but I don't have the top of my head, because San Francisco came and we did not have Sacramento. So that's good to know for this committee, because we were not aware. And that was the reason why this was started, because we didn't know how many committees was out there. So then the question I would leave for Ozzy is exactly what you just said, to who's going to be our audience, right? So if we know that there are only Contra Costa County, Alameda, whatever that is in San Francisco, because I can't think of the name, and then Sacramento, who else are we going to have at the table if our idea was to focus on boards and committees? Are we going to ask again for programs to come? Because only Solano County, we end up having probation. Santa Clara County, we had their, I forgot what that program is. Starts with a D. Geez. Forgot what it was called. But it had to do with pre and post release, and they did all the connection of services for those that was incarcerated. So I think it's establishing with Ozzy, or finding out from Ozzy who is her audience and her list, because I don't have that, but that's what our initial goal as a committee. That's why the summit was initially started.
Okay, thank you.
So we don't have a current list of who her audience is going to, or who our audience is going to be?
We have a list for last year of who attended.
We're going off last year's list.
Yes, and I know the last time I spoke with Ozzy, she was trying to add to that. But Mark just solved our problem because our biggest question we had was who was the other committees, and we didn't know who the other committees were. So our goal was trying to reach out to the different cities to find out who is your board, who can we talk to, but he just solved that problem. There isn't anybody to talk to. So now my recommendation would be to Ozzy is knowing that, of course, we're going to invite the same folks from last year, but who else are we inviting and how we want to restructure our mini summit, because we're not going to be able to focus on committees because there isn't any. So we can table that for a question for her because she doesn't know that either. So this is going to be, I'm excited he's here because he just solved a, a big question mark that we had for a while. So Mariah, go ahead.
I think what would be great for, well, not just for this committee, but for the CAB, is, since there's a lot of focus on recruitment for the community advisory board, is to focus on internal to this county. All the county agencies that work with reentry and the community, and in some of the different cities, is to consider that as the audience to, basically, in a way, handle our house first, and then once we're solid, then reach out to the other jurisdictions, because I don't think that we're going to learn a lot from the other jurisdictions that, because there's only, less than a handful of community advisory boards that are in place.
Well,
And I can certainly give you my 2 cents on my perspective on Alameda County. And, the way that this CAB operates, just in the few meetings that I've attended, is different, and different in a good way.
I think one of the other, and I definitely agree with that. I think one of the other things was just, it was more focused on learning. Like we took, one of our biggest goals in this committee is, I do agree with you, focusing on what we have right now, but I'm be honest, what we have right now don't work. So our goal was to look outside of Contra Costa County, and not saying that the other counties were better, but is there something they're doing different that we can look at so we know what our CBOs do. We know what our programs do. For example, when we see in Santa Clara County, their structure that they provided, we don't know how it works, but from the time that someone is incarcerated all the way until they get released to employment, that was something that we didn't have. So that assisted us as a CAB to come up with our ideas and programs and services around our budgeting to better focus our pre and post release. Another avenue for this was around housing. We know the housing that we have in here, but what are other counties? That's what started that conversation of, what are they doing different? It may not be better, but what are they doing different? Because they may be doing something that we haven't tried that we can look at. So that's where the conversation first started, of inviting other counties coming in, to give us some fresh ideas, because we need to make a change here in Contra Costa County some kind of way. But I like that feedback that you just gave, and I don't want to ignore Mariah. I see her hand is up, so I want to acknowledge her hand too.
And in all honesty, you can tell me if what I have contributed is not really added value for this context.
For some reason.
Can you hear me okay?
I hear an echo. Do you guys hear?
An echo, yeah, I hear an echo.
Oh.
I don't know what happened.
If it's more helpful, I can just put a note in the chat. Like I'll do it that way if the sound sounded weird.
I mean, I'm fine. I just didn't know it came from out of somewhere because you didn't have one at first, but I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Are you all familiar with the basic consortium at all?
You said basic?
Bay Area Systems and Tactics Consortium.
I'm not.
So I'm bringing it up because kind of that professional development and trying to understand best practices and kind of things like that. I'm part of that, and so are kind of most or all of the higher ed institutions, all the way from Solano and Stanislaus, Alameda, San Francisco, all of the counties that are in our area. are a part of it. And we do a convening at least twice a year. That's usually, we're really trying to get best practices on supporting and serving reentry populations. Our community partners and our law enforcement and reentry and justice, like we're trying to get as many people to the table that are involved in that as possible. So the fall one will be at Contra Costa College, so it'll be in our county. And we're just starting the planning of it. So if there are things that don't fit into the work that you're doing for your event, that you're like, hey, this would be really added value for the work that we're doing, if there's capacity to fit it in, like we're just now about to be starting planning meeting and really want to bring more people from Contra Costa County into the mix. Alameda, Solano, and SF are there a lot, and sometimes there's less representation from our county. So I'm just throwing it out there if there's things that can't fit into the time frame, that you're like, this would be really added value and connect to the practitioner work. Just throwing it out there as an opportunity.
Can you definitely share that information, put it into the comments, and then it can be shared with the committee for more discussion? Because I like some of the feedback that you gave as well as Mark, and I would love for you all as a committee to, not my decision, for you guys to decide on how they want this excuse me, for this summit to be structured. Although we did it that way once, you know, y'all both brought some good ideas that we may want to look back at before we actually get this pushed out to RJ. So I think it should be a good discussion to have everyone's feedback on what the goal is and figure out how is this going to be structured for this upcoming year.
When is the summit supposed to take place?
This is supposed to be, I believe it's July. Let me go to my calendar. Wait, is it August?
July? No, it can't be
August.
July.
It's August.
It's August, but I can pull up the date for you. Give me one second.
August 23rd
There you go, Nicole.
from 10 to 12.
The invitations have been sent out.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My daughter's sick. Well, that's an Ozzy question. So all of us can't be there. So I know she's already assigned who's going to be what. I believe Jeffrey is going to be speaking about, is going to take on a part. Rena Moore, I know she reached out to individuals. She's there, I'm there. I'm not sure who else she has assigned. And I know I've seen a couple of emails go out. It was to the people from last year, but I really don't have like a running sheet or anything of who she's talked to. So we really need her feedback on what has been done so far. But I know what she wanted to be done with you all today, or was hoping, was for the agenda. And we can't really finalize it today. So like I said, I just really was trying to get you guys feedback on that. But she definitely needs to come back to the committee and talk about this item, because it's really a OCEC thing that structures this summit. So I wasn't sure if you even had a chance, Brenda, to even look at the agenda yet. And just for those on Zoom, because I know we're at time, so I don't want to hold you guys forever. But section 2 is understanding AB 109 progress and challenges. So it's reviewing the AB 109 implementation within Contra Costa County. In my opinion, it could probably fall with the overview, so it won't be too long. Assessment of current challenges and opportunities, presentation of data and statistics, and panel discussion. So we were short for time because we don't need a whole section. We were doing an overview. I've seen ORJ presentations. There's a way that we can actually make that shorter and talk about those key things of if we're going to keep that there, the AB 109 implementation, assessment of current challenges and opportunities, like what are those challenges? I don't know how much data and statistics we were trying to give, so that's a question mark I got to put there. I know that Homebase has been invited. Not sure if you all are familiar with Homebase, but they work with Council of Homeless and a lot of different state and fed around housing, and they have a lot of data and statistics. So I know that they're going to be there, and then that panel discussion. So it's figuring out how much time will be allotted for that. Next section is strengthening collaboration and partnerships. keynote, the next one is keynote address. And then last one, innovative approach and program. So I would probably I know we have enough time to really go through this. So I would probably, my biggest thing was I wanted you all to see it, and I wanted you to be able to walk away with it so that you have questions to bring back to Ozzy. Because the finalization of this agenda is going to be with OCEC.
I thought, okay, because Garyana, didn't she mention that you, the ORJ and Ozzy were putting the agenda together? If that's just this form, this information that we got, that all it was?
Yes, so this was the draft before we had the meeting. ORJ was going to meet with Ozzy to work with this draft to kind of shorten it because it is very lengthy for a 2-hour meeting. So we're not going to be able to touch on all these things. So ORJ needs a better understanding of what we want this AB 109 mini summit to look like. And that's what we're working with Ozzy to figure out.
Right. And then from what Ozzy explained to me, it comes back to you all to approve the final agenda.
OCEC will or CAB.
OCEC.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions about that? And Mariah, I'm not sure if you could put in the comments or not, but if you're able to share that with Gary.
I put it, I don't know if I put it in the right place. I put it in the Q&A. Should I put it in with the note section?
I got it. I got the comment.
Okay.
Thank you, Mariah.
My pleasure.
And thank you guys for the 6 minutes over. So we'll go ahead and go to the next steps.
Yes, we have a lot.
Yep,
We're going to we're going to revise the OCEC work plan. Brenda's going to look through the Google Drive for the monitoring, the call log, and the script, and for talking points. We're going to review the CAB OCEC PowerPoint. Marcus is going to compile a list of meetings that the OCEC wants to attend, and then we're going to bring it back to the CAB to see if those members attend any of those meetings. To do a cross-check reference list. And then we're going to review ambassadors meetings process. And then at the next general CAB meeting, we're going to discuss what that is for new members to understand before we start assigning. And then I'm going to add Marcus to the Google Drive.
Okay.
Is there anything that I missed, members?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
Okay. All right. My last words of encouragement, very excited to see that we have new members, and Mark, that you're on the committee. And hopefully you guys get more, and just urge you all to adjust it on how you all feel fit. Mark brings some great things, and Brenda, you've been here and you have some great ideas. So I know that your work plan has been that way for a while, but if you feel like there's easier ways to write it out, bring it together, definitely. I would recommend at the next meeting, bring that way that you guys can really start working on how you want this year to be outlined for yourself. So with that being said, I am going to adjourn to your next meeting, which is on July 16th at 11 a.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.